Pataphysics, my friend. You wish to know of Pataphysics and the nature of the medium which accompanies it? Well, let me tell you of Pataphysics. I shall hearken to an example. You know, a time machine, that is, a device for exploring time, is no more difficult to conceive of than a space machine. Whether you consider time as the fourth dimension of space, or as a locus essentially different because of its contents. Ordinarily, however, time is defined as the locus of events, just as space is the locus of bodies, or it is defined simply as succession, whereas space...
This will apply to all spaces, Euclidean or three-dimensional space, four-dimensional space implied by the intersection of several three-dimensional spaces, Riemannian spaces, which, being spheres, are closed, since the circle is a geodesic line on the sphere of the same radius, Lobachevsky spaces, in which the plane is open, or any non-Euclidean space identifiable by the fact that it will not permit the
space is defined by simultaneity.
Figures as in Euclidean space.
And that is correct. Space is defined by simultaneity.
Pataphysics is the
Every simultaneous segment of time is extended and can therefore be explored by machines that travel in space. The present is extended in three dimensions. If one transports oneself to any point in the past or the future, this point will be present and extended in three directions as long as one occupies it. Reciprocally, space, or the present, has the three dimensions of time. Space traversed,
and every phenomenon is that which is superinduced upon a phenomenon.
The future, and the present proper, the now, so to speak. Space and time being commensurable. To explore the universe by seeking knowledge of points in space can be accomplished only through time. And in order to measure time quantitatively, we refer to space intervals on the dial of a chronometer. Space and time, being of the same nature, may be conceived of as different physical states of the same substance, or as different modes of motion. Even if we accept them only as different forms of thought, we see space as a solid, a rigid system of phenomena, whereas it has become a banal poetic figure to compare time to a flowing stream, a liquid in uniform rectilinear motion. Any internal obstruction of the flow of the mobile molecules of the liquid, any increase in viscosity, is nothing other than consciousness.
Increase viscosity.
Since space is fixed around us, in order to explore it, we must move in the vehicle of duration. In kinematics, duration plays the part of an independent variable, of which the coordinates of the points considered are a function. Kinematics is a geometry in which events have neither past nor future. The fact that we create that distinction proves that we are carried along through them. We move in the direction of time, at the same speed, being ourselves part of the present. If we could remain in absolute space, while time elapses, if we could lock ourselves inside a machine that isolates, now let me repeat that, isolates us from time, except for, of course, the small and normal speed of duration that will stay with us because of inertia, all future and past instants could be explored successively, just as the stationary spectator of a panorama has the illusion of a swift voyage through a series of landscapes. A machine to isolate us from this duration, or from the action of duration, will have to make us transparent to these physical phenomena. In other words, allow them to pass through us without modifying or displacing us. This isolation will be sufficient, and in fact it would be impossible to design it any more efficiently if time, in overtaking us, gives us a minimum impulse just great enough to compensate for the deceleration of our habitual concentration. Pataphysics is the science of imaginary solutions, which symbolically attributes the properties of objects described by their virtuality to their lineament. I see, yes. Of all bodies, movements, or forces whose locus will be the point of space chosen by the explorer for the time of departure of his machine of absolute rest, or, shall we say, a time machine. Or one can think of oneself as being traversed by these events, as a projectile passes through an empty window frame without damaging it, baseball or football, or as ice reforms after being cut by a wire, or as the case of, say, a paramecium. An organism shows no lesion after being punctured by a sterile needle. And now let me conclude by saying the time explorer's machine must therefore be absolutely rigid, or in other words, absolutely elastic, in order to penetrate the density solid as easily
which symbolically attributes the properties of objects described by their virtuality
the diurnal movement of the Earth to maintain invariable orientation now so
to their linear
properties. The machine must be capable of falling if the ground gives way beneath it in the course of the voyage. And thirdly, and finally, it must be non-magnetic so as not to be affected by the rotation of the plane of polarization of light.
Thank you, Doctor. Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
Yes, Doctor, I find your information to be quite fascinating. I'm convinced the theory
just as
yes,
well. I find
yes.
it fascinating.
I concur. This is imperative.
Phenomenon, is that what you super-induced upon a phenomenon?